tell me about Normal.
All right, Normal stars Bob Odenkirk. You see him there. He plays a small town sheriff. In fact, he is the town of Normal's interim sheriff.
Wait, the town is called Normal?
Yeah, the Normal, Minnesota.
There we go.
In this little town, the previous sheriff died. And so Odenkirk was brought in to replace the sheriff on a temporary basis until the election, where they can elect a new sheriff. And so basically, look, it seems like a perfect fit. Odenkirk's character, Ulysses, he's a affable man. He gets along with people very well. He's concerned about crime. But he's really in this town just to say, look, I'm going to come in and I just want to leave the town the way it was when I left it. And because it's a small town, of course, there's, crimes are of a small town nature. And he learns a few lessons about how to deal in these small town cities. But soon there's the arrival of two members of the Yakuza. And it seems like the whole town, that there's a conspiracy. Why does he know this? Because as Sheriff Ulysses begins to investigate the death of the sheriff, his predecessor, that raises alarms, and everyone is trying to stop him. And at one point, a bank robbery occurs. These two strangers come to town and are going to rob the bank, and the guards happen to be the two Yakuza members. And in fact, when Sheriff Ulysses goes in to basically negotiate with the bank robbers, his men start firing upon him with automatic weapons. And but being the fact that this is Bob Odenkirk, he knows how to handle himself with weapons, and is able to at least get himself into safety. At which point they go to the vault, and there's a giant stash of gold bars in there. And in fact, this town is in league with the Yakuza. And now the town has surrounded the bank. Everyone in the town has surrounded the bank. And now it's up to Sheriff Ulysses and these two bank robbers to somehow survive. And that is the movie. Oh, no, of course, look, it wouldn't be a spoiler if I told you there's a big Yakuza battle at the end of the movie.
There is?
Yeah.
Now, wait a sec. Question. How is this different than Nobody?
I think Nobody, Bob Odenkirk's character is kind of, I would say the secret agent type. He's
like a family man.
He's a family man, but he's above average killer.
Yeah.
Here, for the most part, he's a typical small town sheriff. He still has to know how to use a gun. He probably has a military background, which explains his ability to use more advanced weaponry that eventually appears in the movie. But that's kind of the difference between it.
Do you recommend it?
Yeah, I actually did have fun with this one. It's not the greatest action movie ever, but I kind of miss this kind of action movie. It's weird that Bob Odenkirk is now an action hero.
True.
Yeah. But if you buy into it, it's a pretty fun movie. And look, it's like the other, was it Nobody and a few others. It gets pretty gory at times. In fact, Henry Winkler's in the movie, and his fate is quite memorable in the movie.
Well, I like the Fonz.
Yeah.
So you recommend Normal?
I do. I think it's one of the better action movies you're going to get this year.